Hi everyone, this is Andy here. So this is our third day of, for lots of people, quarantine. I'm kind of here all the time. I don't really ever leave aside to go from the ballet studio, which is closed. So that is a big change for me, not having to go into the studio every day. But it's also day 3 of Andy's Online FantasyCon. Hashtag AOFantasyCon. So today the schedule is I will do a reading from A Prophecy Fulfilled, which is the third and final book in my Valinor trilogy. Tomorrow the panel talk is No Saints in Fiction, which talks about why and how characters should have flaws in fiction to make them. The topic actually was for the panel was actually for the Cleveland Concoction. Sorry, I'm getting my brain's a little slow this morning. Cleveland Concoction, and the description is all fictional characters must have flaws, otherwise they are boring. Which is true, and I'm going to talk about that, but I'm also going to talk about something that I feel why characters should have flaws is because it makes them relatable. We as people, as humans, are flawed, no matter how much we try not to be. We're very flawed, and having characters be flawed as well and share some of the same flaws, even if they're not humanoid characters, they can still share some of the same flaws, and that makes them relatable and believable to the readers. So tune in tomorrow for that. And I think I'm going to do some of these. I had decided this is kind of an ongoing thing. I had decided to make recordings and then post the videos at 3 p.m. Eastern every day for my fantasy convention, my online fantasy convention. But the more I think about it, the more I think I might do some, instead of pre-recording and doing postings, I might do some live feeds instead. So I don't know. I'm still kind of playing around with that. I was thinking maybe Saturdays or every Friday, something like that. I don't know. If you want to see some live videos instead of pre-recorded ones during this FantasyCon or outside of the con, comment below and let me know, because let me know what days would be best for you for live ones, things like that. Talk to me, share with me, let me know. So that's tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow for No Saints in Fiction. And then Saturday, I'm going to do a reading from Awakening, which is for my other series, my Dragonaut series. It's the second book in that series. It is my more adult series. I'm not going to read anything that's not safe for the general public, but there are some scenes in that book and third one called A War that get quite graphic as far as violence and things like that. So that is definitely my more adult-oriented series. It's not for the faint of heart, that series. So check in on Saturday. I will read something that is, as like the movies say, right, approved for all audiences. I will read something on Saturday regarding that. And then Sunday, let me look at Sunday, I'm talking about, my panel talk is Marketing an Author's Best Friend. So if you are a writer or an author and you want some marketing tips, come and that might be a good one to do live, actually. Come and listen to that. I'm going to share some things that I have tried, some things that work, some things that didn't work, how my marketing's evolved over the years. Lots of great tips on that one. So come and tune in on Sunday, and that will be the last day of the first week of my online fantasy convention. So I do want to talk a little about a couple of reminders. There are on my website, andyo'connor.net, which is down below. Please check it out. On my events page, it has the full schedule for the entire fantasy convention. On Sunday, March 29th, I'm doing a live Q&A on Facebook. So please, 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 if you have questions, even if you questions, comments, anything that you want me to address or answer, please, you can start sending them in ahead of time. Send me an email, which is also down below. Comment down below on the video, comment on Facebook, send me a message on Facebook, however you want to get your thoughts to me, your questions, your points, your concerns, anything you want me to address, get those to me, start getting them into me, and I will answer them on Sunday, the 29th, on Facebook Live. Also, on my website, in my store, my website store, please check it out. All of my books are available for their reduced con prices. Usually when I go to cons, I sell my books for much cheaper than I do, on Amazon or my website or other distributors, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, things like that, because there's no overheads. So, but I'm bringing the con to you because we can't do it in person. So all of my books are cheaper. They're all on sale. If you get full series, they're even more on sale. So check it out. And there is also free shipping to anyone in the United States. So check it out. If you like the readings and you want to get a book, they're all signed by me, by yours truly. So I think that's all of the logistics that I wanted to talk about. So let's get into A Prophecy Fulfilled. So I'm not going to go much into background. This is the first chapter, and it's the final book in the series. I'm just going to read from the first chapter, and you'll kind of figure out pretty quickly what it's about, where and how it starts. I do want to say, though, that this ties into my talk from yesterday about building a better bad guy and how to build a better bad guy. And I check out the video. I talked about letting your readers know your antagonist's history. Let them know why they became or how they became the person they are and why they're doing the terrible things that they're doing. And so this gives you some insight into how I actually went about doing that myself for Kilder, who is the antagonist, or the corruptor, two names, in this series. Excuse me. And so you get some insight in the beginning of this chapter as to how that all went about and kind of how he became the way he did. So here we go. Unexpected chills ravaged Grelder's body. He stiffened, intently searching his study for the slightest sounds of disturbance. Nothing. Long minutes passed, his chills refusing to abate. The temperature in his room shot up. Beads of sweat trickled down his forehead. After slowly closing his leather-bound journal, he placed his hands on the smooth, polished wooden desk and pushed himself up from his chair. The moment he stood erect, a loud bang resounded through the room, followed by a cold rush of wind. The candlelight flickered and died, leaving him in total darkness, save for the sliver of moonlight filtering through a small gap between the windows. Grelder peered into the blackness. Everything fell still once again, causing his short breaths to echo like thunder in his ears. His heart pounded in his chest. Something emerged behind him. He held his breath, trying to discern who or what it might be, but his efforts were in vain. He'd never known a silence so intense. It called out to him, begging to be released from its own prison. A baritone laughter filled the room. You were always easy to scare. Grelder couldn't force himself to turn around, even if doing so would have been beneficial. Who are you? He croaked, hardly recognizing his own voice. Oh, come now. You can't have blocked me completely from your memory, although I'm impressed with how hard you've tried. I don't know what you're talking about. Do you not, brother? Kilder. The name barely managed to escape Grelder's lips. That was my name once. Now I am the corruptor. Grelder shuddered, and the hairs on the back of his neck stood on end when his brother's presence leaned closer. You're dead. I was. That much is true. But I am dead no longer. That can't be. I locked your corpse in a tomb thousands of years ago. And now the body of a wood elf rests in my place. But Grelder continued to stare straight ahead into the darkness, afraid to move, afraid to believe. I see you still don't trust me. That was a problem I always had to deal with. No one ever trusted me. No one ever accepted me. No one ever loved me. The bitterness rising in Kilder's voice was startling. Turn around and look at me, if it will put your mind at rest. Face your demon from the past. Slower than he thought possible, Grelder turned and gazed at the black figure silhouetted by the thin trickle of moonlight. Small yellow flames once again graced the candles placed about the room, finally revealing his brother's face. Grelder's breath caught in his throat. The harsh features of the elf he'd all but wiped from his memory stared back at him. The overly pronounced nose, olive skin, full cheeks framed by thick black hair, and light brown eyes set beneath bushy black eyebrows were exactly as he remembered. Your scar is missing. The words were out of Grelder's mouth before he realized he'd spoken. Yes, Kilder snapped, anger flashing in his eyes. You gave me that scar, brother. I wasn't about to keep a feature with such unhappy memories attached. Grelder's eyes widened in shock. I did no such thing. Oh, but you did. You were jealous because our uncle gave me a toy boat for my birthday that he'd hand-carved himself. Once, I was shown the tiniest amount of love by someone, and you couldn't handle it. You ripped the boat out of my hand, broke it in half, and sliced the ragged edge down my cheek. All the while you laughed, mocking my darker features so unusual among the light elves. You proudly stated that you'd given me something which would match my natural ugliness. You must be mistaken. Grelder couldn't mask his defensiveness, as faint memories of that day began to trickle through his mind. I never would have done something like that. Of course you wouldn't, Kilder sneered. You were perfect, beyond any wrongdoing or fault. You were everything our parents wanted in a son. I was a mistake. An unfortunate accident they were cursed with for the remainder of their long, tedious years. No matter what I did, it was never good enough, never right, never deserving of their praise. You, on the other hand, could do no wrong in their eyes. Our parents gave you nothing but praise. You had no way of understanding the pain you caused me. You were told to believe that it was normal, that it was right. Kilder's expression darkened. But regardless of what you were taught, you were cruel to me. Crueler than anyone else. And I never forgave you. And I never forgot. Grelder's palms turned clammy, and he nervously wiped them on his trousers. We were children, he said. Surely you still can't hold a grudge now, tens of thousands of years later. All siblings tease each other. Even my own sons continue to tease one another, and they're both nearly 5,000 years old. No, my brother. The time for excuses is over. What you did to me was far more than playful teasing. It was abuse. It was a torture. I will have my revenge. Grelder couldn't speak. The paralyzing fear consuming his body was unlike anything he'd ever experienced. The room felt like it had expanded to 100 times its original size. He stood in the center, surrounded by a pack of furious guardians hungry for his blood. They slowly closed in around him, snarling as they inched nearer. There was nowhere for him to hide, nowhere to run. No way he'd succeed in a fight. All he could do was cling to a feeble hope that what remained of Kilder would spare his life. Kilder slowly leaned forward. His face hovered inches before Grelder's. Shadows from the flickering candlelight danced about Kilder's already menacing features. His lips curled back, revealing a devilish grin. Welcome to hell, my brother. So that is the first scene in chapter 1 of A Prophecy Fulfilled. Make sure you can see it in there. Book 3 in my Veilnal series. They all are on ebook. Silavethiel and the Speaker are also on audiobook through Audible. So check that out if you're into audiobooks. I didn't get a Prophecy Fulfilled up there yet. I'm working on that. But books 1 and 2 are available on audio. And of course you can get they're only available in hardback, in print, but you can get all the hardbacks on my website for sale now during my con, and free shipping to the United States. So check that out. Let me know what you thought. I would love to hear your thoughts, your feedback. Let me know in the comments down below. And join me tomorrow for No Saints in Fiction, where I'm going to talk about why we should all have flaws in our characters, why all of our characters should have flaws. And as always, please stay safe. Please do what you can. I know it's a very kind of scary time and foreboding time for many. I know many people are not used to being home, are not used to not being able to go out. But please do what you can. I know it's not about not getting yourself sick, although it sort of is, but it's also about protecting others, protecting those who are more vulnerable. If you do not have to go out, please don't go out. Stay home. There are many, many things that people are doing like this, museums I know are doing virtual tours. There's all kinds of things. Check them out. Stay active, but stay active at home. We're all in this together. We'll all be here for one another, but we have to get through it. So please, please, please do what you can. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.